Quran in Arabic and English. Give me a clear-cut but comprehensive idea of what shirk is and what it isn't. Many Muslims, they would start talking about things that are not a part of the concept of shirk. Even though they've memorized the term what? Shirk. And they've heard it. Everybody understand this? Bid'ah. What is bid'ah? A bid'ah is an innovation. What does that mean? What does the concept mean? What's the depth of the term of the word? Everybody understand this? So that's what we mentioned in the previous class with regards to sujood as-sahw. Khairan inshallah. Moving forward. What the author is mentioning now is hukum sujood as-sahw. The ruling of sujood as-sahw. What is this ruling? Is it obligatory? Do you have to do it if you make a mistake? Or is it something that's just preferable? Is it something that you must do or you should do? The author, he says, سجود السهو واجب في الصلاة إذا حصل سببه وقد استدل أهل العلم على وجوبه بما يأتي. Sujood as-sahw, the author says, is mandatory. You have to do it. As long as you make the mistake, the error that causes it. If you did something which necessitates sujood as-sahw, the author says, then you must make that sujood. And it is no longer an option. It is not an option. He says, in the ulama, the people of knowledge, of past, of present, who hold this view, they use the following proofs and evidences. The following proofs and evidences. Proof number 1. ما رواه البخاري ومسلم وغيرهما عن عبد الله بن بحينة رضي الله عنه أنه قال صلى لنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ركعتين من بعض الصلوات ثم قام فلم يجلس فقام الناس معه فلما قضى صلاته ونظرنا تسليما كبر قبل التسليم فسجد سجدتين وهو جالس ثم سلم. The first proof is narrated by Abdullah ibn Buhayna radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. The companion's name is Abdullah, the son of Buhayna. Not Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, not Abdullah ibn Umar, not Abdullah ibn Abbas, not Abdullah ibn Zubair, not Abdullah ibn Buhayna. Wa alaikum salam. He says, one day, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu, he led us in salah. He led us in the prayer. It says, Ba'd al-salawat. A prayer. He doesn't remember which prayer it was. Maghrib, Dhuhr, Asr, a prayer he led us in. And all of a sudden, he says, ثُمَّ قَامَ وَلَمْ يَجْلِسْ. He stood up and he didn't sit. In other words, for the tashahhud. Because he forgot. The Prophet did what? Alayhi salatu wasalam. He forgot. He made sahw. The Prophet of Islam, he forgot. فَقَامَ النَّاسُ مَعَهُ. So everybody stood up with him. They followed their imam. And they followed behind him when he left off the sitting for the tashahhud. فَلَمَّا قَضَى صَلَاتَهُ. When he finished his salah, when he was done making the salah, وَنَظَرْنَا تَسْلِيمَهُ. And then we watched him make the taslim. We watched him make the taslim outside of the salah. Assalamu alaikum. Everybody, نَظَرْنَا تَسْلِيمَهُ. It says here, كَبَّرَ قَبْلَ التَّسْلِيمِ. He made takbir. وَنَظَرْنَا تَسْلِيمَهُ. Watching, looking for him to make the taslim. Before the taslim, he did what? He made takbir. He said, Allahu Akbar. قَبْلَ التَّسْلِيمِ. فَسَجَدَ سَجْدَتَيْنِ وَهُوَ جَالِسٌ ثُمَّ سَلَّمَ. He made 2 sujood, 2 sajdas. Everybody understand this? Then he made the taslim. Everybody understand this? So this hadith, it teaches us in Sahih Bukhari and in Sahih Muslim. Okay, Abdullah ibn Buhayna says the Prophet one day made a mistake. He made an error. He didn't sit down, yani for the tashahhud. He stood up to the next rak'ah. If it was Salat al-Maghrib, hypothetically, then he stood up after the what? Second rak'ah. And he didn't make the first tashahhud. And he stood up to the third. If it was Salat al-Asr, then he did not sit for the first tashahhud and he stood up towards the what? The second one. To the third. After he was about to finish the fourth, he made the what? then made taslim. Everybody understand what the hadith is, what it means?
How about you forget when you
All of the details are later on. Right now we're just building the blocks, building the foundation, step by step, piece by piece, inshallah. So therefore the Prophet ﷺ, he made an act of forgetfulness. The companions, they didn't know what he was going to do. When he was about to make the taslim, that's when he did something new, something strange, something that they didn't necessarily know about or aware of or familiar with. And that was what? Sajdatain, wahuwa jalis, while sitting down. He didn't stand up and make an extra rak'ah. He fixed the mistake, the error, by doing what? 2 sajdas. Now, this hadith here is in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, that the author mentions as number 1, does not necessarily prove that sujood as-sahw was mandatory. It doesn't prove that. The Prophet did something in the salah. He didn't speak to the people. He didn't talk to the people. He didn't say, do it, you must do it, don't leave it off. It's something that he did. That's one way of looking at it. And another way of looking at it is to say, the Prophet is the one who said, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. Pray as you see me praying. Everybody clear on this? And that which the Prophet did in the salah could become mandatory until proven that it's only recommended. Until proven that it's preferable. That the asl, the default, the rule of thumb of what the Prophet says and does in the salah is what? Fard. Unless another hadith shows that he didn't do it, he allowed companions not to do it. Because the asl, the default is the hadith that says, pray as you see me praying. Everything that I do in the salah, you must do until something else is proven. That's another way of looking at it. Right, moving forward. It's not an explanation yet. Second proof. عن عبد الله بن مسعود رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى الظهر 5 فقيل لا أزيد في الصلاة فقال وما ذاك قال صليت 5 فسجد سجدتين بعد ما سلم. Narrated Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu. One day the Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam, he offered salat al-dhuhr 5 rak'at. Intentionally? Of course not. Of course not. There's no thought. Of course not. The Prophet did what? He forgot. Everybody understand this? The Prophet, he did what? He forgot. He made an extra rak'ah in salat al-dhuhr. Therefore, it was said to him, or we asked him, Azida fi salah? O Messenger of Allah, is there an extra rak'ah now? Did Allah give you some revelation, something that we're unaware of? The Prophet says, وَمَا ذَكَ? He says, what's that? The Prophet was unaware what he did. And they told him what he did, and then he did what? He says, فَسَجْدَ سَجْدَتَيْنِ بَعْدَ مَا سَلَّمَ. When he left the prayer, when he made the taslim, he did what? 2 sajdah. To fix the error. Everybody understand this? That's the second proof. And this hadith is just like the first hadith. It's not khitab. It's not the Prophet speaking. It's not the Prophet warning. It's not the Messenger of Allah encouraging. It's something that he did. However, based off of, we said the asl, that he said, pray like you see me praying. Number 2, which the author is going to mention later on, another proof, another qarina, okay, a context clue to show that it's mandatory, is that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam never left it off. Whenever he did make an error, he always what? He always did it. Which, with other hadiths and texts, come together to show that it's what? Mandatory, according to that view. Proof number 3. In this hadith, the author says here in the footnotes, Rawahu al-Bukhari wa Muslim. It's collected by Imam Bukhari and by Imam Muslim. Proof number 3. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال صلى بنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إحدى صلاتين العشي إما الظهر وإما العصر فسلم في ركعتين ثم أتى جذعا في قبلة المسجد فاستند إليها مغضبا وفي القوم أبو بكر وعمر فهاب أن يتكلما وخرج سرعان الناس قالوا قصرت الصلاة فقام ذو اليدين فقال يا رسول الله أقصرت الصلاة أم نسيته فنظر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يمينا وشمالا فقال ما يقول ذو اليدين قال صدق لم تصلي إلا ركعتين فصلى ركعتين وسلم ثم كبر ثم سجد ثم كبر فرفع ثم كبر وسجد ثم كبر ورفع قال أخبرت عن عمران بن حسين أنه قال وسلم. The third hadith is narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. Who's the first hadith reported by? Buhayna. Good. Second hadith was reported by Ibn Mas'ud. Good. Collected by who? Rais. Allah istar. These two hadiths are reported by who? Abdul Wadud. As if we're only talking about salah. It's only salah we're talking about. Huh? I can see at least 5 conversations going on since I picked up the microphone, unfortunately. It's only the salah that we're talking about. Khalid, right? Only the first thing you're going to be asked about Yawm al-Qiyamah. It's not important. Correct? Right or wrong? Allah musta'an. May Allah help us. I mean, it can't be important. If somebody came and picked up the phone talking about something that was pertaining to your daily life, the police, president, politics, this, that, everyone would listen and give their full attention and respect. It's a new rule with the NYPD. Any Muslim car walking on the street, everybody would listen. Right or wrong? Instantly. You can hear what? A mouse run. The salah, something that affects your daily life. A reason behind you being destroyed or guided. I talk, laugh, eat, joke, because it's not what? It can't be what? It can't be important. Because if it was important, I would have done what? I would have lent my ear attentively. And this is sad, unfortunately. This is very sad. Hadith number 3. Obviously, it's not important. Hadith number 3. Narrate Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. Salla bina Rasulullah sallallahu. One day the Messenger of Allah, he led us in either Dhuhr prayer or either Asr prayer. He can't necessarily remember. One of the two prayers. One of the two. Dhuhr or Asr. فَسَلَّمَ فِي رَكْعَتَيْن. And all of a sudden, the Prophet sallallahu, he made the taslim after how many rak'ah? Just 2, not 4. Once again, the Prophet did what? He forgot. The Prophet sallallahu what? He forgot. The Prophet forgot. He made a mistake. He made the taslim forgetfully after 2 rak'ah. So therefore, after he finished these 2 rak'ah, he says, فَأَتَى جِذْعًا فِي قِبْلَةِ الْمَسْجِدِ. He went and he sat in a corner of the masjid, in the qibla, the front part of the masjid. A jidha, a stump of wood. So therefore, the hadith then says, فَاسْتَنَدَ إِلَيْهَا مُغْضَبًا, as if the Prophet was angry. And among the Sahaba who prayed with him was Abu Bakr and Umar. فَهَابَ أَنْ يَتَكَلَّمَا. They were too afraid to speak to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu. They didn't want to talk, they didn't want to speak to him. They had a great deal of respect and awe for him. And all of the people that prayed with him, they left hurriedly. They left the masjid. The rest of the jama'ah, they left the masjid. And among the few Sahaba that remained was Abu Bakr and Umar. It then says, قَالُوا قُسْرَةِ الصَّلَاةِ. The people, they said, the salah has been shortened. The salah has been shortened. The Prophet made dhuhr or he made asr with just how many rak'ah? Just 2. So therefore, a man whose name or whose nickname was Dhul Yadayn. Dhul Yadayn, literally meaning the possessor of 2 hands. The possessor of 2 hands. One narration says that his hands were very large. He had big hands, long hands, very brolic hands. So he got this nickname Dhul Yadayn. He was the one who had enough nerve, enough courage, enough audacity to directly ask the Prophet ﷺ and speak to him. Abu Bakr and Umar didn't in this point. He said, I'm going to ask the Prophet ﷺ. He says, أَقُسِرَتِ الصَّلَاةِ أَمْ نَسِيتَ. He says, has the salah been shortened or have you forgotten, O Messenger of Allah? Has the salah been shortened or have you forgotten? This goes to show us is that if you have a group of brothers, if you have a jama'ah of brothers, everybody cannot have the full utmost shyness and respect for the imam or the learned leader. That's the good thing. That's the asl. But there has to be somebody who's going to what? Occasionally. And a bunch. We have to have one brother that's what? A bit what? Bit wild. A bit what? Bit wild. A bit reckless. Everybody can't be smooth and wise and savvy and sit back. We need a brother that's going to jump up. Everybody understand this? That's a benefit. And if everybody is humble and quiet all of the time, certain things will not get what? They won't get addressed, let alone done. Right, Nafis? There's a virtue, but not all of the time. Not what? Not all of the time. Sometimes in which that recklessness or that audacity can be disastrous. When you speak, or you speak and you should what? Remain silent. And you speaking, let alone acting, will cause destruction and will ruin us all. Nafis. And then the other times when Nafis busts out and says something, that's a what? It's a fa'idah, a major benefit. Everybody understand this? And the same applies to someone who's humble and meek. Sometimes you need to be like that, and other times you can't. You have to speak up. You have to be bold sometimes. Everybody understand the hadith? If this man, Dhul Yadayn, who was nothing like Abu Bakr and Umar, he was of nowhere of their status, if he didn't ask this question and boldly address the Messenger of Allah, we wouldn't have got the benefit. So the Prophet was asked by this man, Dhul Yadayn. He says, has the salah been shortened or have you forgotten? That's a bold question. The Messenger of Allah, have you forgotten? The Messenger of Allah, it says, فَنَظَرَ النَّبِيُّ يَمِينًا وَشِمَالًا. The Prophet, he looked to the right, he looked to the left, and he said, مَا يَقُولُ ذُو الْيَدَيْنِ. He says, what is this man Dhul Yadayn saying? The people said, sadaqah. They said, he's telling the truth, O Messenger of Allah. We're not saying it, we didn't say it, but we have to confirm that he is telling the truth. And, O Messenger of Allah, you actually forgot. Everybody understand this? You actually what? You actually forgot. It then says, لَمْ تُصَلِّ إِلَّا رَكْعَتَيْنِ. You only made 2 rak'ah, O Messenger of Allah. It's a very important principle as well with regards to our daily lives, with regards to leaders, with regards to imams, with regards to learned people. There's no good and you sucking up. There's no good and you lying or hiding the truth because of respect for your imam. I'm asking you a question. Is this so? La ya shaykh. No, your judgment is best. So many people do on a daily basis. They'll kiss up and they'll suck up. I'm asking you a question. I need to know. Is this right or wrong? And if it's wrong, you say, yeah, imam, no, you shouldn't do that. We should go left and not right. Malish. It's not disrespect. I'm asking you a question for a reason. Because I respect your opinion and I need your advice. Everybody understand this? This is very important concept of quote-unquote Islamic psychology. Very important for the imam, the leader, and the led. If you have suck-ups and kiss-ups, if you have yes men around you, no one is going to succeed. If you have true people around you that have the necessary respect, the necessary manners, the necessary honor, but at the same time they're not afraid to speak what they feel and say what they feel, let alone say the clear truth, then that's the means of everybody being saved. Everybody understand this? Everybody clear on this? The strength of a king only depends on the strength of the pieces around it. And when a king is isolated, it's finished, it's done. It's only a few squares that it can move before it's in check, before checkmate. The king only survives and keeps his power if there's a rook, if there's a knight, if there's a queen, if there's a bishop protecting it, or even a pawn. Even a what? Even a pawn. Everybody understand this? So if you're an imam and you want people to just kiss up and suck up and just hail imam, then that's a major problem. If you're a follower of an imam and that's the only thing that you do and you're not willing to speak the truth, to give the necessary advice, that's a problem as well. Everybody understand this? A true coach is going to ask his players what they feel, how you feel. What play should we run right now? Everybody understand this? And a true player is going to respect the judgment and the guidance of his coach. Everybody works what? Together. We work what? We work together. I got your back. You got what? You got mines. Everybody clear on this? But if you want a yes man, then that's a problem. So therefore, Dhul Yadayn, he said, yes, O Messenger of Allah, you forgot. And you only made how many rak'ah? 2. It then says, فَصَلَّ رَكْعَتَيْنِ وَسَلَّمَا. Then the Messenger of Allah, he went on to do what? He made 2 rak'ah. He made what? 2 additional rak'ah. So now he made how many? 4. ثُمَّ كَبَّرَ ثُمَّ سَجْدَ. He then made the takbir and then made what? Sajdah. How many? No. Says he did what? 1. Sajdah. That's the verb. The hadith then says, ثُمَّ كَبَّرَ فَرَفَعَ. He then made takbir and did what? Came out of the sajdah. He made takbir and he did what? Sajdah. Then what's next, John? He said Allah Akbar and did what? And he sat up. Everybody clear on this? It then says, ثُمَّ كَبَّرَ وَسَجْدَ. He then made takbir and did what? Sajdah. How many times now? Twice. Everybody clear on this? The hadith then says, ثُمَّ كَبَّرَ وَرَفَعَ. He then made takbir and did what? No, he finished with the sajdah, done. He made 2 sajdas already. He came up out of it. Rafa'a, he came out of the sajdah. It then says, the narrator, he says, وَأُخْبِرْتُ عَنْ إِمْرَانِ بن حُسَيْنَ أَنُّ قَالَ وَسَلَّمَ. The narrator, whether it's Abu Hurairah or someone else, he says, وَأُخْبِرْتُ. I was told. I didn't see this. I didn't hear this. But Imran ibn Hussein, another companion, it was told that what? That Imran ibn Hussein, he said, وَسَلَّمَ. And then he made the taslim. Then the Prophet, he did what? He made the taslim. So this hadith is extremely vivid of the description of sujood as-sahw. And every time you make a movement, there should be a what? Takbir. There should be a what? A takbir. Sujood as-sahw, sajdah as-sahw is not or is much more than just? No. 2 positions. As we explained, and we'll explain again. First position, or first it was takbir, then it was sajdah. Takbir, jilsa, takbir, sajdah, takbir, jilsa. Then it was the taslim. Everybody understand this? So it's 5 positions now. That's how many? 5. Everybody got this or not? And it's another example or specimen of how the layman Muslim can understand and comprehend certain basic things. So if you read this hadith here, and it's clear to you, you can't go off and say, my madhab states, sujood as-sahw has no taslim. My imam, my madhab states, don't make taslim after sujood as-sahw. I'm a layman. But the hadith clearly states what? He made taslim. So you can't say in this instance, I'm Maliki, I'm Hanbali, I'm Shafi, I'm Hanafi. You can't say that now. Because the hadith is authentic and it's clear and vivid that the Prophet made what? Taslim. Before you go into sajdah, when you come out of sajdah, jilsa, he made the what? Takbir. So one madhab states you don't or you shouldn't make the takbir when you go into the next position. The Muslim layman should do what in this instance? Clear, simple, vivid hadith states. And nothing is difficult about that. Everybody understand this? Is it mandatory? Do you have to? That's secondary issues. Prophet ﷺ, he did it in an authentic report. That's more than enough for me as a Muslim. Everybody got this or not? And this example, you take and you make 50 other examples of the whole concept of madhab versus sunnah. Everybody understand this? Not saying that everything inside of a madhab is against the sunnah. And that's also another extremism or way of extremism. Everything in a madhab is garbage and trash. No. But an issue in which this imam says, don't make takbir. And this authentic hadith clearly says that the Prophet made the takbir. Who should I follow? What should I follow? Everybody understand this? You make this example with 50 other issues in the deen. With 50 other what? Issues in the religion. Everybody understand this? The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, the companion, Aun ibn Abi Juhayfa, he narrated from his father. He says, Ra'aytu Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam fi hullatin hamra. I saw him wearing a red cloak, a red mantle. He was the most beautiful and handsome man I've ever seen. He says, Hatta nadartu ila bayadi saqayhi. And then all of a sudden, I looked at the likeness of his shanks, his legs, his shin bones. The Prophet's garment was where? Clearly above the ankles. Much more than above the ankles. Much more. You can see his leg. This madhab states that you don't have to have your pants above your ankles. You shouldn't have your pants above your ankles. The hadith clearly states in Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, that the Prophet's garment was where? High. But I'm going to wear my garment low. Something is wrong with your brain as a Muslim, if that's your logic. Is it mandatory to do it? That's a different story. But we have clearly affirmed that Muhammad said something what? He did it. So isn't that a good enough example for you? The Prophet raised his hands in a prayer. But Imam Malik, but Fulan, is an athar from the Sahaba, kada, kada, kada. Muhammad raised his hands in the Salah. You want something else. You want something more. You want something different. And this is unfortunately a plague and a cancer of so many Muslims today. Clear common sense. This is how Muhammad did it. But we have another way. It's not haram to do it the other way, brother. The hadith doesn't say that you can't do it. Tayyib. Which makes more sense? The quickest point from the quickest way to 2 points is a what? Straight line. You want to go, no, we can make curve, we can go like this. Just do a straight line, simple, easy. Make life simple. And from the wisdom and the beauty of following the clear sunnah is that it does away with difference of opinion. It takes away from tafarruq. It takes us away from the cultural differences that we have. You speak a language, I speak a language. I do it a certain way in my country, you do it in a certain country. The thing that unites us all is one thing and one thing only, and that's the sunnah. He's from Mexico, I'm from West Philly, he's from Bangladesh. It's one thing that brings us all together. He's Hanafi, I have no madhab, he was taught Shafi'i. So things are going to be more complex, more difficult now. So the sunnah is ease and the simplicity. As far as if it's an issue that is technical, if it's an issue that's very deep, if it's an issue which is a great deal of difference of opinion, then that is also what? That's a different story. We're talking about things that are what? Crystal what? Crystal clear. Easy and simple. No Muslim with the basic simple education is going to misunderstand that. When the Prophet made sujood sahw, he made taslim. Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, he made taslim. But I'm Hanafi, so I'm not going to make the taslim. For example, hypothetically speaking. Moving forward. This hadith, the author, he says in the footnotes, Al-Bukhari, he says, Rawah al-Bukhari wa Muslim wa lafzu lahu. It is also agreed upon as well. Proof number 4. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن أحدكم إذا قام يصلي جاء الشيطان فلبس عليه حتى لا يدري كم صلى فإذا وجد ذلك أحدكم فليسجد سجدتين وهو جالس. Proof number 4 is also narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم said إن أحدكم إذا قام يصلي جاء الشيطان فلبس عليه. That when you stand in the prayer, you make the takbir, you begin to make the salah, the shaitan comes. The devil comes and he does something, says labasa alayhi. He tries to trick you and mess you up, confuse you and whisper to you. He gets you to lose focus. He gets you to lose concentration. Before you made the takbir, you weren't thinking about your wife. As soon as you make the takbir, your wife comes into your head. Before you made the salah, you weren't thinking about getting a parking ticket. You clearly saw that it was okay to park there. The moment you start making salah, did I park in front of a hydrant or not? This is reality. Shaitan. He says, so when one of this happens, حَتَّى لَا يَدْرِي كَمْ صَلَّى, so badly that one of you doesn't know how many rak'at he made. Did I make 3? Did I make 2? Did I make 5? Did I make 1? He doesn't know. He's doubtful. When this happens, he says, فَإِذَا وَجَدَ ذَلِكَ أَحَدُكُمْ, when one of you finds this, فَلْيَسْجُدْ. Hadith says, then let him, he should do sujood. It says, سَجْدَتَيْنِ وَهُوَ جَالِسٌ. 2 sajdas, and he is sitting down. This hadith here, so far, is from among the strongest proofs that sujood as-sahw is mandatory. Whereas the Prophet ﷺ clearly did what? No way. Are we listening? No. What does this hadith say, Khalid? No. La. What does the hadith say, Nafis? John, what does the hadith say? No. La ilaha illallah. Maybe my words aren't clear. My English must be bad. No, this hadith is clear.
The hadith means that human make a mistake, there's a way to repair.
What does the hadith say? Why is this one of the strongest proofs? This hadith has nothing to do with the Prophet's actions. It just has nothing to do with the Prophet's actions. Hadith number 1 was pertaining to what? The Prophet's what? The Prophet's what? Hey, what? Something that the Prophet what? Did. He did. Okay. Hadith number 2 was pertaining to the Prophet's what? His actions. Hadith number 3 is pertaining to the Prophet's what? Hadith number 4 is pertaining to? No. فَلْيَسْجُدْ سَجْدَتَيْنِ إِنَّ أَحْدَكُمْ إِذَا قَامَ يُصَلِّي جَاءَ الشَّيْطَانُ فلبس عليه حتى يدري كم صلى فإذا وجد ذلك أحدكم فل The hadith is talking about what? No, it's not the Prophet's actions. We translated it. The Prophet ﷺ is in this hadith, he's doing what, Khalid? فَلْيَسْجُدْ سَجْدَتَيْن. Maybe somebody online can answer the question if he's... What is this for hadith talking about? We translated it. We didn't just read it, we translated it. Hadith 1, 2, and 3 pertain to the Prophet's what? Action, something that he did. An issue that he made. This fourth hadith deals with the Prophet ﷺ's statement. He commanded someone. When you forget, you don't know how many rak'ah you prayed. You forgot, shaitan tricked you, then what? Aywa. And that is called a what? A command. It's the Prophet ﷺ's what? His order. You said this is the strongest proof that sujood sahw is mandatory. Is that the Prophet actually verbally what? It's a huge difference between me doing something myself and me what? Everybody understand this? I'm sitting in a green chair. Or not a green, it's normally green. It's a beige colored chair I'm sitting in. And next week the same color. And the third week the same color. And the fourth week the same color. So it says, well, Mufti sits in this colored chair, it must be okay. Or maybe it's mandatory because he always sits in this chair. That's not the same as me saying, when you come to At-Taqwa, sit in a beige chair. It's a command, not a recommendation. I'm not recommending anything to you. I'm telling you what to do. I'm doing what? Hey, well, get up. Stand up. Get up. Yeah. Get up. Come. Everybody listen? I told him to do what? Get up. Ijlis. Sit down. Sit down. I think you should sit up. I think you should stand up. I think it's a good thing for you to stand up. That's a what?
That's just a statement, but
Nafis, right now, I think you should get up, Akhi. I think it's good for you to get up in my class right now. I think it's a good idea. That's not a command. You gotta go back to English now. That's a what? A recommendation. I'm recommending. I think it's a good thing for you to what? Or me myself, I stood up. That's my action. I stood up in the class. That's my what? That's my what? It's my action. Everybody understand this? Get up. Yalla, come. That's a what? It's not a warning. It's a what? Command. Maybe we got to go back to English now. The different words, what they mean. A suggestion, a recommendation is not an action. A suggestion is with what? There you go. Exactly. Verbally recommend. Advise you to get up. If you don't want to get up, then you don't have to get up. It's just my advice. You don't have to. Now I'm saying, get up. Come. Get up.
Yes. That's a command.
Everybody understand this? That's not an action. It's not a recommendation. It is a what? Command. In this hadith, let's go back to the initial question. Hadith number 1 was a recommendation. It was an action of who? The Prophet. So, hadith number 2 was a what? No, it was an action. Hadith number 3 was a what? An action of the Prophet ﷺ. We said perhaps someone could say that you have to make sujood sahw based off of what? No, that's not what we said. That's not what we said. That ain't what we said. We explained it clearly. It's one of the reasons why we can't get it. Tight. Everybody pay attention. How many times you get up tonight, Abdul Dude? Phone, talk. I can count at least 4 times. This is why we can't what? Why we can't get it. Now everybody pay close attention now. We said that the Prophet ﷺ told us in another hadith to do what? No. A hadith has nothing to do with making a mistake. We said that the asl, the default rule is what?
do as I do.
Exactly. Ahsant. Very good. A hadith that has nothing to do with forgetfulness. Another hadith. The Prophet said what? Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. He said, pray as you what? See me praying. Everybody understand this? Pray as you what? See me praying. So this one hadith is a cornerstone. It's a rukin, a cornerstone. Okay? In the corner of the building, of the block. Not in the middle, in the corner. Everybody understand this? And this hadith could be understood to mean what? everything that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what? With regards to the salah, everything the Prophet what? Say it. You gotta say it. No. We're not talking about sujood sahw no more. We're on a whole different topic. The hadith states once again, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. Pray like you what? As you see me pray. Okay, that's a what of the Prophet? That's a statement. Okay? This hadith can be understood that everything that the Prophet ﷺ what? Blank did. There you go. Everything that the Prophet did in the salah is what? Obligatory. Unless he tells us that it's preferable. Based off of that what? John, we call it a what? A asl. A principle, a foundation of law. You're innocent until... SubhanAllah, we gotta go back to law now, American law, English law. We can't understand Islam until we understand our language, our culture first. The police caught the man with a gun, with a knife, with his hands around the victim's neck. The suspect is what? There you go. When? How is he proven guilty, Nafis? Because he had a knife with the blood dripping? A gun? Because he ran from the police? He was nervous? When will he be determined to be guilty? In a court of what? There you go. Everybody understand this? So therefore, in law, criminal law, whatever you want to call it, this would be called a what, John? Pay attention. Leave Abdul Wadud alone. Leave him alone. He will mislead you. Asenta. This is called a what? Asl. This is a what? A asl. This is a major principle. This is a maxim. Innocent until what? Proven guilty. Period. He has to be proven that he did this crime through evidence, through witness, through confession, through testimony, etc. We cannot just take him, throw him, kill him, execute him because he was at the crime scene with a weapon. No. He must be what? So the asl is that anyone that's locked up by the police is what? There you go. Everybody understand this is a what? A asl. We got it or not? So the Prophet ﷺ, he says, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. Pray as you see me praying. That's a what? The word sallu is a what? Is a command. Like the what? To get up. So the Prophet says, pray like you see me what? Pray. That's what he said. So therefore this hadith is a what now? It's an asl. It's an asl. It's an asl. No, we're done with the command. The command is the lughah. Finish with the lughah of the hadith now. The meaning, the concept of hadith is an asl. It's a principle. And that principle is whatever Muhammad did in the salah is what?
That's awesome. That's you have to do it.
Obligatory. Mandatory. You have to do it. Anything that Muhammad did in the salah, you what? You have to. You are commanded to obey who? The Prophet ﷺ. So therefore the asl is that whatever Muhammad did in the salah is what? Mandatory until proven otherwise. No. Not translating anything. Listen carefully. Whatever the Prophet ﷺ did in the salah is what, John? Obligatory, fard, wajib, mandatory. Until? What can prove otherwise? Another hadith in which the Prophet didn't say this. He recited a different surah. He recited something else. He didn't shorten the salah, etc. Everybody understand this? This is asl. So when the Prophet ﷺ made sujood sahw is what? Mandatory. Until proven what? That's a proof. However, that's not as strong as a proof as the Prophet ﷺ verbally what? Commanding it. When you forget, everybody understand this? Just like a court. The evidence, the fingerprints, is not the same as another proof that's not as strong. Everybody got it or not? So that fourth hadith is the what? We said it's the what so far? It's the what? We said it was the strongest of the proofs and evidence. Type. That's enough for tonight. May Allah Azza wa Jalla make it easy for us. I mean. You know what it means already. You don't need a translation. You got it. Clear. Guilty or innocent until what? That's a what? A asl. No matter how shady and funny the crime scene looks. He's what? Until what? Proven guilty. So in law, the books of law, a court of law, a lawyer, prosecutor, a judge, that is a what? Asl. That asl you can use on 500 cases. Whatever you want to word it as. Just say full cup. I can't say that. And you're affecting him.
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. Stop, shake.
حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Thank you, brother. No, sorry. I cut the tape off.
Pray. Go. Finish. You're done.
Suck.